Hi, my name is Emily Fisher and I'm the owner of The Growing Place. We are located at 5719 in Anderson, Indiana. We offer the following services: ABA therapy and speech therapy, and we hope to be able to provide occupational therapy within the coming year. We recently added a sensory gym to help facilitate the services that we do provide.
Hi, Troy Pfefferle, Fun Factory Sensory Gym. Today I couldn't be more pleased than to be here with Emily Fisher from
The Growing Place.
And there's a reason I couldn't be more happy. I have been talking to Emily's husband Josh for the last 2 years as they've been growing and as they've been planning, and we have now anchored our first location, which we will be doing more for you as time goes on. The reason that we are doing a sensory gym, a full-scale sensory gym, rather than just like a reinforcement gym or regulation place, which would just be an overhead, we're going full-scale sensory gym because we're adding OT and speech, correct?
Yes, we already have some speech services, but we're going to be adding OT hopefully by the end of the year.
And you're also in a number of school districts,
Yes.
in the Anderson area, correct?
Correct.
And looking to broaden our horizons and add more BCBAs, and what's the plan there?
Yeah, so right now we have 6 BCBAs on our team, and we have about 37 RBTs.
Wow.
So as we grow our patients, we grow our therapists. It is a one-to-one, ABA is a one-to-one therapy. So for every patient, we have to have an RBT.
Right. Okay, so let me ask a question. How many years did it take you to grow to that level?
We will be in year 4 in January.
Year 4.
Year 4.
And you've done no marketing?
No.
You just,
So word of mouth, referrals from doctors. So
you and Josh, I mean, I've already said this to my camera guys, my workers. You and your husband are just so chill and so relaxed. You must be like a breath of fresh air to a parent that's panicking when they come in to talk to you. Do you talk to every parent that comes in?
I do all of the tours. I do a lot of our intake assessments with our families. And I have often been told that I have given these families hope because they didn't even know that this was out there. They didn't even know this was available.
You know what, I gotta say, I 100% believe that because I'm gonna go back over this. You have 4 kids, 3 boys, 1 girl. And tonight, Josh is taking them to soccer in 4 different fields because mom is doing this. You guys come off as just the most comfortable people to deal with. I mean, I deal with thousands of installs every year, thousands of people, and I meet great people, but there's this balance with you and Josh that's almost like a magic, and I kind of want to touch down on Josh. What college did Josh graduate from? Is he an OT? Is he a PT? Is he speech?
He's not.
guy?
He does not have a college degree, but he is retired from the Army.
Army.
He has a lot of leadership skills. 101st Airborne.
101st Airborne. Okay. And he wooed baptism into the business. How'd you bring him in? Because he is unstoppable. Literally, I've watched him build his building. I've watched him run everything from the sign guy without ever getting excited once. He's just so calm about everything. Are you treating him?
No, I think a lot of that just comes from his military experience. I mean, he led, probably hundreds of guys, I'm not exactly sure, but he has a lot of experience that he brings in leadership, and then also structure and organization with, running a motor pool and, doing all those things. He was on, 4 deployments in Afghanistan and Iraq. And so he just brings a lot of that experience to our company, and he's able to kind of get things running like a well-oiled machine. And he's on it, you know. He just knows when things need to happen, and he makes it happen.
So half the kids that are going to transition out of here are going right into the Army, right?
He is not a recruiter.
He's not a recruiter. Friends of Josh. Okay, well, I just had to touch down on that because, again, I'm not blowing a horn for Josh, but I've seen people panic and freak out during installs or during this kind of time, and I know you're dying to get in here because you're broadening your horizons even more under local demand that you have a waiting list.
Yeah.
So what we're looking for right now is good OTs and good speech people, right?
Absolutely.
And we're looking for all the school districts to be calling Emily, who takes care of so much personally that it's almost frightening. So I want to go and touch down on this place now because I know you've got this broken up like military campuses. This one here is for ages 2 through 7.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, and this is the one that's going to transition them into school. And then you have, you know what, why don't you just go ahead and fire away on the locations.
Okay, so this is for our early learners. We have kids ages 2 to 7. This is really kind of to get some good solid foundations in place. We really like to focus a lot on communication, socialization, which is why we're so excited about having this gym available. That will, really kind of help support, what we're doing with ABA as well as speech. And then we kind of get the kids ready for school here. So if they are going to be going into school, then we put them into our school readiness group, and we have a mock classroom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is that at the other location?
Well, we have mock classrooms at both of our other locations right now, but we will have 2 here actually. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's set up just like a regular classroom. So it gets them used to doing like routines and centers and things that they might come in contact with in the actual school setting. And then we, when they're ready, we will transition into school with them. And then we slowly kind of pull back. We fade back our staff until they're going into school independently.
That's about the most sympathetic transition process I think I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we like to stay with our patients step by step. So as they grow, we grow with them. And we just kind of, transition them into something that's going to be least restrictive. And that's typically the educational setting.
Okay, and I guess why I'm so surprised to hear that you and Josh were so up on having the speech in here and bringing the OT, because 2 years ago, I would have laughed at you if somebody would have said, Troy, of your thousands of installs every year, 80% of them are soon going to be ABA. I would have laughed at you.
Yeah.
Now, ABA is bringing OT and speech on, because at the end of the day, because they have them so long, they're delivering a well-regulated child to a parent, not one that has to get picked up and now driven across town in traffic, because when that child gets picked up, it's the beginning of rush hour.
Yeah.
They're hungry, they're irritable. It's the end of the day. It shouldn't be the next step to the next part of the day where they have to go under more treatment.
Right.
So parents are just absolutely loving this whole, I don't want to call it one-stop shopping, but what's a better word? One-stop shopping. That's basically what it is. And if you have the person who's teaching all these procedures like you are right now, from transitioning into school to just all the things you're working with, to doing the OT, what a friendly situation. You don't have to change your environment. You don't have to change faces. You don't have to change places. It truly becomes a no-brainer. So if you had to tell me 2 things that you're most looking forward in the future, and I know there's no script here, and everybody who watches anything Fun Factory does knows there's never a script. And this includes everything like being able to balance my family life better. If you had to pick 2 things that you want to improve on in the next 2 years, and 2 areas you want to grow into in the next 2 years, what would they be? You want to call a lifeline?
Sure.
I love this girl. Okay, go ahead. 2 things you'd like to see improvements in.
I would really like to see just growth with our staff. I would really like to see us having a multitude of staff so then we don't have to have a wait list. I think that's really important in, getting kids into therapy as quickly as possible. Okay,
so let me ask you a question then. With bringing OT in here, are you hoping, because this works both ways, but I see you being the kind of owner that's going to do this in the right way. A lot of ABA people don't see OT as the right way. Okay, here's the end of it. Are you hoping that the OT help your ABA people kind of meet in the middle to work with kids? Or are you just bringing the OT on as a service? And I'm only asking that because of how you answered that question or how you said that. Staff is important. Are you hoping to cross-train at the same time?
So like train some of our staff to be OTs or SLPs, or kind of introduce them into that?
To be ABA therapists with an understanding that if there's not an OT there, she knows what that child needs because of what the OT staff has done and worked with.
Yeah, and so what we're really good, because we also have speech right now. So what we're really good doing is incorporating speech into our ABA. So our ABA therapists are present during the speech sessions, so they understand and they know like what that therapist is working on. our BCBAs are really good about incorporating those auxiliary service goals in with their daily goals.
Okay. Let me ask this question real quick, and I'm not going to stretch you out for hours here because I know you've got kids at home too. You bought speech, and I'm not an OT. I'm not anything. I'm like Josh. My wife just kind of lets me hang around and do cool things and talk to people. It is so amazing that you bring speech in first before OT, because if we can't understand what the child's trying to say or what they want, nothing, I don't care who you are, nothing works.
Right.
I don't know anybody on TV, but I watch hundreds of hours of videos, and until that component's there, we're all lost.
Yeah.
We're all confused. And I've seen ABA facilities where they think they're doing the right thing and this child's moaning out and crying out, and nobody gets that component. Mm-hmm. So having speech in first is, even if you're OT, speech brings them in young, OT keeps them for long-term reinforcement, and ABA somewhere in the middle is just a wonderful thing. But is that why you did it? Did you bring speech in so you could, there was an understanding so your kids could communicate at some level?
So communication is generally, especially in this clinic with our early learners, is like one of our number one goals that we work on. We see a lot of meltdowns because they can't communicate what they need or what they want.
Exactly.
And so as soon as we start giving them the tools to let us know what they're needing, we start to see a decrease in those maladaptive behaviors.
I have that in my marriage. She just doesn't understand. But we're working on that. No, keep going. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
So okay, with the staff thing, wow, wasn't expecting that one, but that's a beautiful answer. Number two.
Number two would probably be to just expand our locations to be able to reach more children, and to provide high quality services wherever we go. I know that my staff can perform these services very well, and they have.
Do you train do you work with each person that comes in before they start, or?
Well, we do have an orientation and we do have a training program set up. I don't necessarily lead all of that, but I do get to know all of the staff members. I do get to kind of oversee what everybody is doing. So I, kind of go from clinic to clinic, so that then I can make sure that everyone is on point and, everyone is working together, and we are working, as a team to kind of provide these kids with the best services possible.
I had to say something here. Is that something you and Josh practice saying? Because with Josh, when I was talking to him, it was all about services. Better services for these kids, better services for these kids. Mm-hmm. Did you program him for that?
No.
He must hear you talk a lot then, because he was very serious about it. Because if we can't provide better services for those kids, we can't grow anymore.
Right.
Then we're stuck. And we're standing right there when he was talking about it.
That's so funny.
I was like, dude, that's it. When you said that, I was like, okay, is this something we practice saying? Okay, now those are two things that you want to see happen. If there's two things that you can improve immediately, what would they be?
Well, one of them is going to be just our facility. So having this gym,
That's a great start.
having this gym is going to bring so many resources to what our staff can do with the kids. It is definitely going to be an amazing feature that we can have during therapy time.
Well, you're not just targeting this for therapy. You're targeting it for meltdowns, regulation, and everything else, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It will be good to use as, a reinforcement for ABA, but it's also going to be great for, those kids who are sensory defensive, creating some tolerance programs to maybe some things that they aren't necessarily used to, but they might come in contact with, like out on a playground, going down a slide or walking up steps or jumping into a foam pit, having those things that maybe they don't get to come into contact with very often because maybe they're scared of it or they don't like it. So we can work on those things, and we can also work on, those kids who want that sensory input, who need that, and to help kind of regulate them in that sense too.
Amazing. I couldn't say it any better. Second one. I mean, that there's so many things in this gym that you're going to realize as you're moving along. That strap swing, for instance, when a kid is sitting on that strap swing, it's not just the sensation of the swinging. It's not somewhat of the vestibular system in motion. it's the muscle groups they're working. And if you're working on speech, it's amazing because their hands, their forearms, their biceps, their pec, their core, their trunk, even the muscles with each swing are working these muscles in the neck. We have speech people say there's no better attachment than that strap swing for working in speech. So I hope it's taken years, but I think everything is here, to get you up and running. But now, item number 2, what changes what would you do immediately to make improvements on if you could pick a second thing? You don't want to say Josh, but no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I don't know. You have any?
That's good, because if you would have answered quick, I'm like, oh, this ain't as bulletproof as I thought it was. She got a wish. Really?
I mean,
everything is just running that good.
I mean, we have a great group of staff. I mean, we have kids who have high magnitude behavior that we can work really well with. We've received a lot of praise and compliments over being able to work well with that type of population. And I mean, we just have an amazing staff. We have staff that are geared to working with the littles, who can get down on their level. They crawl around on the floor. They give piggyback rides. I'll frequently see like therapists and patients like racing, having races down the hall. They just make things really fun for the kids. And they just really enjoy therapy. So.
That is so key, your staff. Last question, and then I think we have to get into something else. What's your retainer rate each year? Are you retaining 95% of your staff?
I don't know that.
You don't know that? We don't know the answer to that question, but is it pretty solid? Your keepers are your keepers. Some of them come and go.
This is kind of a fluctuating field. A lot of times it's a stepping stone for people. So we have therapists who are in school who are working toward, earning their BCBA or their BCABA. We have some therapists who are just in school for related fields like psychology, social work, education, and they're kind of using this opportunity to grow and learn so that then they can go out and help in those fields.
So it's like a stepping stone.
Yeah.
Emily, last question. It has been, no doubt, wonderful spending this time with you. Why Fun Factory Sensory Gym?
I chose Fun Factory Sensory Gym because we truly want the best for our patients. We want to give them an experience that will be conducive to their therapy. We want them to be able to have all different modes of motor movements. We really just want them to be able to also just have fun while they're here with us, and just kind of get that all around
Light therapy and
therapeutic,
stuff like that.
Therapeutic touch that we have. We're also wanting to get OT involved too, so I figured we needed a space that will be conducive to OT.
This will bring the OTs running. This is, so many OTs spend their whole life hearing this. We'll get a sensory gym someday. They're starting to go where it really happens because that's all they want. They're like walking hearts with hands and feet, and it's just, Emily, because so many of our clinics have directors and so many of our clinics are huge facilities, everybody's looking at an ROI, a return on investment. And I'm just going to ask you, was this done for that reason? Was it done as an investment, or what bought you putting this kind of money and putting it into better treatment today for your kids' futures? What bought you to make that investment?
Well, honestly, I'm not a business person. I am a BCBA, and that is my first priority is to provide quality services to the kids we serve. So I'm looking at it as a necessity. It's not even a question of whether or not we should have a sensory gym. It's just something that we have to be able to provide the best quality services for the patients that we do serve.
I love that.
For more information, please reach out to us at our website at www.thegrowingplaceeba.org. Please feel free to contact us with any questions or to schedule your tour with our facility. We hope to see everyone soon. Bye.